Hello, everybody. It has been quite a while since the last time that I streamed anything. I think I did do a short video a few months back, but I don't think I've been live on stream for some time. Hopefully my audio is going through. I should probably test that. Didn't even have my mic and headset enabled earlier, and a while back I recorded a video without audio, so that was very clever. But I'm trying to get back into this thing. I'm trying to get back into a rhythm of at least doing one stream a week, and hopefully, depending on what happens in the next couple of months, I might try and do that more frequently. So yeah, firstly, welcome back. Happy 2025. Quarter of a century gone. We are officially halfway through the first half of the century. That's quite quite the thing. So as was fairly customary, I wanted to just quickly touch on some of what's going on in the world of game development. There's a lot that has happened and some controversial things from the last little while, but I don't want to get into too much controversy tonight. I think or it is tonight here in South Africa. I think Unity has been quiet. Unreal has been quiet. I don't think there's been any major studio layoffs announced yet this year. There has been a couple of things that have happened. Sony have killed all their live service or most of their live service games. And obviously there was the Game Awards last year. Congratulations to Astrobot. I think there were a couple that I thought were well deserved. I don't know Astrobot at all, so I have no opinion on the matter. And I do hope that my stream is actually going through. All right. So I want to just test that this is going through. So I'm going to have some weird echoes. Let's check. Yep, that does look like it is working. Okay. All right, so that looks like it's working. As I said, it's been a while, so I'm a little rusty about this whole streaming thing. We'll get into it quite quickly. What are we going to do today? So maybe a little bit of an update. I'm still working on Making Friends. The last time that I was working on it, the game was all Blueprint. It was a slightly different vibe to where it's starting to go now. So some of the changes in the world and in setting and world building, which I think are going to be quite interesting. And I'm hoping that it resonates well with players. We decided to set the game in a steampunk setting that we're busy working on. And so it'll have a bit more of a steampunk feel. And so one of the main changes is that the enemies are not going to be also magical enemies. So in the original sort of draft of the game, I had paladins and clerics and soldiers as your primary antagonists. And now will also be some soldiers, but your enemies will be a little bit more technologically equipped. So they'll have blunderbusses and crossbows, and other fun and interesting weapons that fit well in a steampunk milieu. While you'll still be playing as a necromancer, and we are introducing a second class as an optional second player class. Quite a bit has started happening. We've changed away from the sort of asset store character, and we're busy working on customizable and custom characters for the game. And hopefully we'll be able to show some of those character designs soon. The female base mesh is already been done, but hasn't really been plugged into anything yet. Another big change is that I've started rebuilding the game using a C++ base, and the big reason for that decision is I wanted to take advantage of Unreal's gameplay ability system, and keep on disappearing off the camera. And not only that, there's a couple of other advantages to starting from C++, that I think will stand us in good stead and make it possible for us to create a fairly pluggable, sort of plug and play experience, and maybe introduce some additional game modes or other capabilities. It's likely that we'll have co-op multiplayer. That's kind of in the works now. And again, gas helps facilitate a lot of that. So quite a lot that's going on. Yeah, where we are right now is I'm still busy fighting my way through a lot of the C++. I may have taken my usual over-engineering approach, and I'm implementing quite a lot of the systems based on the Lyra example or sample project, and that has proved to be interesting. So what you'll mostly see me do is swear at C++. If that is interesting to you, then stick around to see me swear at C++. I have written C++ code in the past, but C++ in anger 15, 20 years ago, 2007, 2008 was about the last time that I needed to write C++ code in any anger. I did do a little bit of C++ for one of my university modules, which I don't know if I had mentioned that in a previous video, but I actually passed my degree. So I am officially finished with studying, at least for a little while, probably forever, because I don't think I have the stomach for more academia. But yeah, I did some C++ for a module there, and what I did was quite interesting. I enjoyed the changes to the modern C++ versus what I was used to in good old days. However, Unreal brings its own flavor and layer over the top of C++, and so it's again been quite an interesting learning curve. Getting to understand how the pieces of the game engine fit together, what actually gets executed in what order, how do things kind of get fired up. So it has been an interesting journey, and it's taken me a bit longer than I would have liked to get to various points. I've had more progress at some stages than I am at currently. Currently, things are quite broken, and a lot of that is to do with really kind of pulling in a lot of Lyra systems and trying to make them all fit and work, and trying to still keep it simple so that I don't have to have everything switched on day zero. But it's starting to feel less and less like that's the way I can go, and I'm doing more and more of the Lyra systems. I'm just kind of replicating exactly as they are from Lyra into my project. So what I've got open on my screen right now, in fact, let me start with my project, and then we can return to the Lyra project, and we'll switch between them. I'll show you where I am currently and what I'm needing to address, and then get some of that done. And what I'm going to try and do is, like I say, probably once a week for the time being, this time slot. So what is this? 7:30 South Africa, and whatever that is in the rest of the world. That's at 12:30 Eastern time, 5:30 in the UK, etc., etc. So let me just quickly switch over here. Let's see. No, I do not have a camera. Okay, so let me just find the camera, because for whatever reason it's lost our camera, and I'm still going. Oh, that's very interesting. That's fine. All right. Okay. There we go. I don't know. I've got a new PC and all my stream settings are a little bit messed up. So while I try and figure all of that out. And then also switch off the desktop audio just in case there's pop-up noises and other things. Hopefully we'll get most of that cut out. Okay. So where I am, in the experience manager component. So, like I said, I started really digging into the C++, and it's become quite a beast. So the place to start is sort of in your game mode. Excuse me. I did just open that up. You'll see there is a bunch of unimplemented methods, so that's what we'll be tackling. Excuse me. I did for a while have the game mode extended into the experience game mode. And then I decided that I don't really want to do that. So this class is actually just here until I'm quite certain that I've deleted all of the references to it from Unreal. And then I'll probably delete that and just work off of the base game mode. Because I will rather set up a fallback experience that is very simplistic, that can always run and will always work, than have to have different game modes and then people get confused and they might use the wrong game mode, etc. Then from there, you have an experience manager. Well, we have so experience types. This is just actually a struct, sort of a data structure. That doesn't really do a lot. The experience manager and the experience manager component kind of load up the experiences and does all of that stuff. I'm still wrapping my head around a lot of those things. And the experience definition contains, is also a data asset. And this you can define in Engine, so you can create different experiences, which would have then different features associated to them, possibly, different form data. So your startup character could be different depending on the experience. So this is a nice way in which you could create different demos that start in different ways or put the player at different places, with different character abilities already pre-set up, etc., etc. So it's a nice, very flexible kind of modular thing, but it comes with the added complexity of I actually don't know half the time what the hell I'm doing. So we'll get there and we'll figure it out, but it is going to take some time. So okay. And like I said, there's still some linker errors, and those are primarily because there's unimplemented methods. For those that care, I am using Rider and not Visual Studio. I've been a long time Visual Studio fan, but my experience between Visual Studio and Rider for specifically Unreal development is Rider definitely has a better understanding of Unreal. Just as an example, when you come here and you go you can add an Unreal class directly from here. It's, understands the typing, understands the folder structure, and just creates your class, sets it up correctly, puts the generated body stuff in, uses the API stuff. So you don't have to go into the engine to create a class based on another class, etc. You can literally do everything from within the IDE. And so that does make the development process faster, in my opinion. That's just one example of how the Rider does seem to have a better understanding of Unreal and Unreal's API than Visual Studio does. For most work for C#, I still prefer Visual Studio, and I still use VS Code a lot for scripts, for PowerShell, for YAML, for Python, front-end kind of work. And Markdown, so I do a lot of wiki editing in Visual Studio Code. Right, so what we have, all of this red, is actually because this is in game mode base. So let's just go back to game mode base. Game state, game mode base. There we go. All of these little squigglies here says we don't have implementation for those methods. So step one is we're just going to go and say generate me a method. And we're going to do that for all of them. what what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to call their supers, call their parents, parent implementations, and just wanting to get a compile and get it to run again so that we can see where we are and what is working and what isn't working. So I can go and run build again. Um, hey, look at that. We get a compile. This was quite a process to get here again. Um, I don't know if that was the best approach because I don't know what I've implemented and what I haven't. I think I still want to get a better understanding of the IDE because it does again have some notion of to-dos. So let's say, but I don't know, in Visual Studio you can find all your to-dos and list them. I haven't tried to figure out how to do that in Rider yet. Um, I'm sure it's possible. I just haven't quite gotten. All right, so I just have to recompile that because I changed the C file. Now, if we run this in debug mode, hopefully my editor starts. And we'll see in a second whether how badly I've broken things. So this is one of the challenges when you start doing Unreal from source or starting from C++ project is that you generally have to run your editor from Visual Studio, from the editor. You have to run the Unreal editor from your code editor. You can compile everything and then ship the binaries and then just run the editor like that. Um, and one of the things that I'm going to have to start figuring out is how do I make the engine available to my artists and designers. I make it sound like I have a 3D artist working on some character models and, somebody who's, working with me on art direction. So we'll see, how best we can collaborate, so that they don't have to necessarily be running everything from source. Okay. All right. Things are at least loading. I don't know whether that means everything is working or not. Well, it's almost certainly not working. In fact, my map is not loading. I'm just going to bring that screen over here. A little bit of, oh, of course. Right, so this is something that is a little bit annoying about Unreal, that there is it's not actually showing any maps. Um, I know why that is. Okay, so I was starting to do a bit of organizing, and in so doing, I have broken where the startup map is. Okay, so our game default map is still level loader, which yeah, what do we get? Hmm, yeah. Uh, um, um, that. Oh, right. The level loader is, yeah, I think, yes, there it is. So that is still fine. It still knows about that. And then if we go into our maps and we go to our test, it's just our, um, test map. And I'm just going to bring this little window back here. And we can do that. And, let's just test that that is in fact working. Um, because, yeah, I don't know. Okay. So, Oh, hi, Olivia. Thanks for joining me and watching me struggle through C++. Right here. Okay, so there we go. The level is loading up again. I'm just going to minimize this piece here. All right. Oh, I seem to lose my mouse cursor a lot. Let's just see. Mouse cursor is AWOL. Um, it's there. Oh, okay, there we go. All right. Ooh, okay. So I have to try and find this mouse cursor is going. Yeah, there we go. So the camera speed is a bit higher because, what I can't show yet is some of the world building that we're doing, and the world is a bit larger than the maps here. So I set the camera speed a lot higher so that I can actually move around. Here are some, just most of these are, these are asset store assets. These are from Exomo. Um, those two are, well, actually all three of these are asset store assets. And the reason why we have the sort of blue block here is this blue block is a 1.8 meter high block, and that's a 1.6 meter high block. And that will give us some size comparisons for our male and female characters. And then we're just starting to build a very basic, very boring gym. What we want to see now is how badly is my code broken still, because I'm pretty sure it's still very broken. I'm expecting lots of red text in the message log. So what I'm going to do to share that with you, because we can all have a good old laugh at my ineptitude, is putting the message log in there. I'm a little bit concerned by the fact that my mouse cursor is not showing up on the screen. It shows up occasionally and shows up very, very seldom, very occasionally. So that's a bit of a challenge. I don't know if that's the same. Sorry, I literally just want to see what happens if I put this on my other monitor, whether the mouse cursor is still gone. Nope. So this is certainly something that is an issue only on this monitor. So maybe there's something I can do with the cursor to make it a bit more visible here. Anyway, we're going to see how badly this crashes, and then we're going to try and just debug a little bit and follow the code. Got about a half an hour in the there we go. Right about there, we're falling over. So we do not have a default experience definition for our asset class. Right there, we're falling over, and this is in the experience manager component. So what I'm going to do is let it crash. I don't think that there's a hell of a lot that we can do at this point. Let's see. Install, this is in class of H. Okay, so we are definitely going to just going to break. So I'm going to stop that and start it again. And then what we are going to do is we're going to just try and see. So firstly we need an experience definition. And I have no idea where that actually is meant to be tied in. So I've had a bunch of files float around all over the place. We're going to go and take a look at that and then see if we can get some of this fixed up. Okay, let's get back into this. Let's make that a bit bigger. For a second. All right, so the structure of this thing, like I say, so it gets a little bit interesting. Let's do here, there. Yeah, all right. Okay. So we have our experience data, which has a pawn data experience and some action sets and some game features. And obviously there is not a lot happening here yet. There's our pawn data experience. That's got an input config. our player state, and the hero component, and our pawn class. Now, whether all of this is going to stay like that, whether the structure is going to stay like that, I'm not sure. Input config is at this point just got move and look, although the look is not actually implemented, so that's also not going to help as much. And the player character I have implemented very similar to Project Titan, a torso with some subcomponents. We may or may not use these subcomponents exactly as they are here. I think that we'll have a couple extra components, and I'm not sure whether we'll keep the glider. I've left it in for the time being, just because I don't actually know. And then really I've just set up the character, using that modular character from the asset store. And this character is, or this modular character has a couple of different variations of legs and chest and hair. And I'll just pick a couple of random ones. Once I get everything up and running, I'm going to enable the ability to switch these things in play mode so that you can actually check that you can change the look and feel of the character. And that'll be how we'll do things like different armor sets and equipment, etc. So, all right. So for all intents and purposes, this looks like there is an experience. It seems to be connected to something. What does it need to be connected to? I think it needs to be connected to our game mode. So if we come back, and here's our game mode base, and our game mode base, and this is our startup game mode. And if we look at this world set, that was not what I wanted to do. So this one is the standard game. So this is the standard game, is the game mode that it's loading. It does not have a default game instance, which I think this would override it. Okay, so there's no default experience, and that will be probably why we're crashing at that point. I don't think I need to set that. That is correct. That is fine. That is fine. That's okay for now. Player state is okay. So the other settings I think are okay. I think the game instance is in fact set on the defaults. Default game mode is standard game. Default pawn is character 5. Controller, game state, player, spectator class and stuff. Game server mode, that's got nothing in it at the moment. There we go. There's our game instance class. So if you don't set anything on the subsequent one, then that is the one that will be chosen. Alrighty. So let's see if we go back to our standard game and compile that so that it saves it. And sort of save everything. I really should get that overlay working. And let's see where it crashes. Okay, so we're going to do a bit of debugging, because I'm trying to also get a good handle on the flow of how things actually work and what fires when. So, let's start here. And we've got a, game state being set like that on that game. I don't know if that gets hit. I'm pretty sure that's going to get hit. I think actually this one in Lyra is actually set to not spawn at the start spot, but to go and find the correct spot for you to start at based on some other settings. There's still a bunch of things that have to be done here to make that piece work correctly. I think that's everything that's in the Lyra implementation, so they've split that out further. These things are called their children. It's going to put that there. It's going. We're going to get to here. I don't know if we're going to get to there. We're probably going to get to there. And you probably won't get to that one. Okay, so uh, the editor, let's play. All right, so game mode gets hit. Everything looks good at that point. I'm going to check that off because it really doesn't do much. So there we go. And then we hit in that game, and it calls the parent, and it's happy with that. And then it says handle match assignment as a set timer for next tick, which means that it's going to come in here on the next tick if nothing goes wrong. Okay, so it gets to that before it gets to the next thing. So I'm going to leave this here just so that we can remember the order of operations. Okay, so what we want to be able to see now is get pawn data for controller. And so our controller is not a null pointer. Let's see, do we have player state? No, there is player state. The player state does not have pawn data on it. Okay. Then we check the game state. And the game state is valid. And we're going to get an experience component. And our experience component looks to be valid. Okay, so that's an experience manager component. Oh, because that's what it's fetching. Okay. Right. This will probably be false. Let's see. If it is fully loaded, it's not fully loaded. Yes, so then it returns a null pointer because there's no pawn to be had. Let's see if it works. Yep. Okay. And then it goes the parent. Okay, now we hit that next tick call. Is experience loaded? Where it says we're still in the game mode. Okay, so game state is valid. I'm sure. The experience component is there. Let's see. It is not loaded. Okay, so okay, begin play doesn't do anything. So I'm going to leave it there because again, just to follow the flow. Okay, where are we now? Handle match assignment. We're not expecting one. Okay, so I'm going to get the world, check the world. It's going to be difficult to be sure which one of these has failed if they failed. So, okay, not experience. Okay, so experience is not valid. All right, so let's see. Now, I don't think that that is actually correct. I'm just gonna see stop getting in there. Okay. So it says that there's a valid experience ID. That is kind of weird. Experience components, account experience ID. And at that point it fails. Okay. So, I think it's because that, no, I think it's because that experience, that DA experience underscore 2, I don't think that exists anymore. Some of this, is, Claude assisted code. So there might be some hallucinations involved. So that's part of why I'm now running through it step by step to try and resolve those hallucinations. Okay. I think let's start with a DA experience 2 thing. And let's see if we can find out where that is being hit. Experience still loading. I don't think it's in this code. I think it is. Not in here. Then there. There's that call. It says handle is not expecting. That's the one. Okay. Yeah. So, um, so the challenge here is that our experience ID here has got no value. So why would it ever work? Why would this ever be valid? Okay. So that's unlikely to ever be valid, but let's just let our code get that. Oh, we're going to have to run it again. We'll make sure that it doesn't crash on us again. No, I think it is this. Um, but it does seem to me like we should be getting a default experience from the game mode. So I'm going to change the file name to that just to test it. But I kind of feel like we should be getting, um, I kind of feel like we should be getting an experience from the game mode because we've set it on the game mode. We go look at our game mode. When instance is not set, but there's our experience data. There's our default experience. So our default experience is in fact set on the game mode. But that's a little weird. Okay. All right. We're going to close this and restart it. Let's change the code. Okay. Let's try that again. Game, enough game. Get default on, get phone data. Handle with phone experience. Experience is loaded. Gameplay. Okay. Handle match if not expected. All right. Steam. So, yeah, so the experience ID is not valid. Um, um, option string. Huh. The option string is empty, so that itself is also possibly a problem. We'll have to take another look at that. And here we say, oh, okay, it's not valid. Let's try and load it. Let's see what happens. Now it is valid. It gets the experience component, it shows the experience component, and it sets the current experience, and it still fails. So you see, my little pea brain is really struggling to wrap my head around how these things are going. There's an acid path, and the acid path get from the acid path experience data, the experience data, and the acid path says nada. So the acid path says there's nothing there, so it doesn't know how to um, get the experience data file. Oh, and that's also says get a soft object. No. Okay. Um, it's going to crash anyway. So let's stop the debugging and let's try and figure out when we go through the Lyra code why it is different. So, okay, so the Lyra game mode. Now we have a bit of an understanding of the sequence. We can try and trace through the Lyra code to see what happened. Yeah. So there's a more initializers here. We haven't created. We could probably set up a player state class. I think I've only got the game state class in my code. So if we look at that, let's do that. Okay, so that's a game state class. So for example, set the player state class and suggestions are pretty good. But I don't think that makes much of a difference. We haven't, we could do that as well. We could do that. But these things basically override the settings in the player in the project settings, from what I can tell. So this way you could possibly have different settings of these in the coded game. I guess that's the point of that. Okay, that's that. So init game. So see init game does exactly the same. So super init game, da 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 da, and handle match assignment is not expected. And then in there, and so option string. Let's see, where does that come from? Aha. So the option strings, um, comes from the game mode. Now it sits in game mode base, which means that you will be setting this, somehow. But what I still don't understand is this. This can't possibly be valid. If not, oh, right, it's not valid. So this is saying if not valid. Let's just make sure that ours is the same. I think it's near the bottom for some reason. Yeah, here we go. Right, so that is correct. And there we have an option string which is not being set. So if we go through virus code, if you want to watch. No. That's interesting. Huh. Huh. Okay, it is messy. Let's just see. Aha. I now know to look for those. That one caught me off guard quite a bit. All right. All right. All right. All right. So in Lyra, what we want to be able to see is if we look at, I'm not sure what this is. Um, let's see, what is this? This is a Lyra experience definition. So if we take a look at it, default pawn data, got some action states and it's got some actions, and it enables the shooter core. So this is the default one. And if we take a look at the Lyra game mode, somewhere in the Lyra game session, game state, Lyra HUD, Lyra character, some events, start that, plausible, application system, default. Oh, look at that. Oh, I've heard good things about Iris. So now here's an interesting thing. So the option string doesn't show up here, right? And yet it's supposed to be under game mode. There's nothing under physics. Nothing under cooking. Start with check, check, advanced, physics, blah, blah. Classes, that's all the classes, default player name, not, so if we go back to the code, this option string, if we go and look at it, it is blueprint read only, and its category is game mode. In other words, it's in that game mode category. That's where it's supposed to be. But it is not there, or there's nothing here that makes me think that that option is settable. It's only blueprint readable. So if we run the Lyra game, don't know why that was on my screen. Okay, if we run the Lyra game, what's that? Here, and let's go and see what happens if we run the game. It did not hit. No. So let me just move this in here. So you can see that this map starts without hitting our debug view. Okay. Pretty cool. Unreal bot. Sliding in the ice. There we go. All right. So, that is interesting. Let's go take a look at our world settings. Okay. So I'm actually in the mover game mode. That's why. I wonder when I set this to be the starter. All right, that's okay. So that means that I'm not actually running the Lyra game. Come on. So let's go to maps. Let's go here. Let's see if this thing runs. Hello, experience mode. Okay, so get the world. Okay, um, that is set to none. Option string is empty, so this should then skip as well. Okay, if it is play in editor, which I think it is. Ah, you see, then it goes and fetches the experience override. Hmm. One second, let's see. Come on. Okay, if it is still not valid, which it doesn't seem like it is, then it checks for it from command line. There's nothing on the command line, and so it's still not valid. Then it gets the world settings. Okay, which, come on, tell me something. Let's see. Okay. All right. So then get default. Yep. So that then, is how this one gets its thing. And it says it's from the world setting. Okay. Um, it's an asset manager. It says if it is valid, um, not get primary asset experience ID dummy. So it says if it doesn't get it, okay, then we're going to run an error, and then let's say that it's not, then blah blah blah, and then on match assignment given. Okay, so long story short, there's our Lyra map. And there we go. All right. Oh, interesting. So if we close this down for a second, and then we compare this piece of code to our code, we'll start seeing some of the differences now. So, I only really wanted to run for an hour. I don't want to overstay my welcome. Let's see. Javier is still watching. Are you still watching, or is this just playing in the background? Okay, so I wonder if my screen is a little bit. Let's do this. Let's do this. I don't think it's no. That's not a good idea. It's probably not going to work really well. Okay, so um, we're in line. Okay, so let's go back to the top there, and this might actually work. This one, it's not actually work. Actually kind of see them side by side. All right. But smaller. Let's see. Okay. So if it has the option, which you know that didn't work, all right, so I do not have these developer settings. So this piece I've not implemented. That's correct. Um, so we're skipping that. Then I'm not worrying about command line, so that's okay. So then here, um, this one, fuck. Fuck. This was this I don't want anyway, so I'm going to remove this piece for now. Um, and we're going to say if, um, okay, but I don't think I have world settings, right? I don't think I have world settings. I do, however, have, a default on the game mode. So, if default experience, um, experience ID source equal text, game mode default. Okay, something like that, that's okay. Um, let's see what happens if we do that. Okay. So we want to do, yeah, let's skip all of this because it's boring anyway. Okay, and let's run. Okay, let's see if we get further, right? Old bugs out, new bugs in. Um, we're happy within that game. There's not much happening there. We're happy with that piece. That piece doesn't do anything. This piece doesn't do anything. This piece doesn't do anything. This piece doesn't do anything. Okay, so this is where we get to. That makes sense. I probably shouldn't have put it there. I probably should put it the other way. So let's do that. And now let's take a look. Uh, experience data is set up to something. So in our source now, let's see, is it? Oh, that's interesting. Ah, um, hmm. Okay, so it, yes, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Let's stop that. Oh, I did actually. Okay, good. Um, so, okay, so I find it, I set the source, but I still did not set the experience either. Let's take another look at Lyra. I'll just see what does it do. It says type default settings, get default game experience. Okay, so when we go into get default game experience, it does, if not is null, asset manager, get primary asset ID for path to soft object, if not result is valid, return result. All right, so let's steal this piece of code and let's come in here. And there, so we're going to do something like base Um, uh, primary acid iodide, uh, something like that. Let's just go take a look at that for a second. Okay, so you're going to stick to the same naming convention because it's easier to know what it is that we're dealing with in that case. And that's what I want to do. And place that in there. All right. I'm just going to do that experience. And we were saying start. So, okay, hmm, interesting. What's interesting that is normal. Okay, so basically it's just actually a warning. That's all good. Get primary acid for path and experience. Okay, now that's interesting. Do soft object path. Okay, so this could be, take a look. Oh, thanks. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, so this is a T soft class pointer. Okay, okay, all right. Whew, okay, okay. So if we change this to a T soft class pointer, all right, so an object pointer is a hard pointer to the actual object, and that means that it is a hard reference, and so the experience is always loaded. In this case, I mean, it's not a lot of data, but it's basically sitting in memory. The soft class pointer is a pointer just to the class, and so only loads like a soft reference doesn't load the whole thing into memory, and that's why it then needs to be loaded using a primary acid ID approach. Okay, so here we're going to do the following. We're going to go and use um, little debug helper. That and just going to go message. Okay, and then we're going to go to this. Done. And I'm going to go with string. Oops, no. One stage equals blah blah that and that is that. All right. Okay, and here we're gonna go color red, turn up 7 doesn't matter. Um, um, oh, that's right. That was not perfect. This piece, mm, log making framework still. That's right. Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. What does all of that mean? Default. Nice. Change that. Experience. We might need to add a path to the LC4 okay. So this might still fail. And this says it can be const, which one. So, okay. So now, if we do a little bit here. Huh? Yes, okay. And therefore, then we can, yeah, run it. Let's see. Okay, now it might still fail because of that logging entry that says you need to set an asset path. Well, let's see how far we get. Okay, well, that was very useful. That was extremely useful. Extremely useful. Okay. So experience, ID, influence, that's default experience. Okay, let's try that again. Dum, dum, dum. Okay, right. The game, the phone data, okay, here we are. Let's see. And, ah, yeah, that's useful. So because we changed the type, it's no longer set in the editor. So we have to go and reset it in the editor. Become a game developer, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Good in Unreal and C++, they said. Okay, we can do this. Yes, we can do this. We can do this. Where's my game mode? There's my game mode. Default experience. There we go. All right. So, um, I don't know if that's going to work. I feel like that doesn't make sense. I don't feel like that's going to work. Let's go take a look at the asset manager setting. So but it says something fine. Okay. So there was this comment made. Well, not so much a comment. Let's go take a look at that login engine. Fail to resolve to an asset item. You might need to add a path to the asset rules in your game feature plugin. Okay, so what does that mean? With this, asset ID redirects. I don't know. Take a look and go. Oh, that's directory 6.2. That's not what I want. That's it. ID. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know quite what it does, but to the chunk ID, file possibly could Okay. Huh. That's interesting. Then this one. So, so these are just ACID redirects, which we don't care about. ACID registry. Okay. Doesn't care about that. Okay. So, not quite sure yet. Custom primary ACID rules. That's primary. Okay. Yes, that makes sense. And click production. Oh, okay. Let's see what happens. I don't think it's going to work. I think that there's still a step that we're missing. But don't ask, don't get. Let's see. Here we are. Okay, so now our experience should hopefully be set to something. Yes. And now we want to go and get our default experience. Anyway, uh, that doesn't make sense. Oh, that's so dumb. All right, so explain what is wrong. Here's the Lyra code, so you can just put them side by side and see how dumb I am. Okay, so this piece here says if not default gameplay experience dot is null. Interestingly, that is deprecated on the object pointer, but not on the soft class pointer. So, what is happening here is, or what was happening is that this is, so is null means that it'll return true if it is empty, and then it says if it is not null, whereas this says if it is null. So when it is not set to something, so this is if it is null. So if I didn't have, because I didn't have that is null piece there, I had inverted the case. So that's why it wasn't going in. Okay. One last try, and then, unfortunately it is time for me to go on to some other boring things. Hopefully I recorded audio on this video. If anyone is still watching, I'm very impressed that you made it this far with my boring voice and terrible C++ skill. Okay, here we go. Alright. Our experience is set. Okay, good. And let's run it. Let's see. This is unfortunately how a lot of software gets written. If you are not a software developer, then always seems so cool on the movies. Unfortunately, we are not as cool as those hackers in the movies. But now we should go in there. Yes. Okay. Result. Let's see. Result is not valid. Okay. So the reason why this result is not valid is because it doesn't actually know how to get the primary asset for the path. So no, it doesn't know what to do with that. So there is a problem, and then it returns null. Now here, okay, so here it says if the experience has valid. Now I feel like I should break. Yeah, like it should, like if it gets here and the experience is still not valid, then we need to like throw our hands up in the air, like, we do care about something. So probably here we need to have some kind of, um, log error, blah, blah, experience could be loaded and, fail to everything. Yeah, something like that. Okay. So I've got to go and check in Lyra how they set their experience up so that it can be found by the asset manager. But I feel like there's a bit of progress. It's still not quite where I want to be, but this is unfortunately what I've been kind of digging into. I'm just trying to get these experiences to work correctly, and then hopefully through doing that, being able to get more of a, how can I put this? Getting more of a pluggable gameplay system and framework in place so that we can deploy, small tests with, specific abilities or a specific class or just a specific function, a piece of a map, or just to test specific things with a test group, etc. So, or if we want to have different game modes and different kind of ways of playing the game, then we could do that relatively quickly. We could add new abilities and new sort of play styles quite quickly. So that's the hope. That's the plan. I feel like we're making progress, but, we're not quite where we need to be yet. Hopefully next week, we'll be closer. Thanks for sticking around. If you have stuck around, thanks for watching. If you watch it later, hope it was entertaining. If you want to see somebody struggle their way through molasses and C++ at the same time. Yeah, catch you on the next one. Thank you.